Hello everyone, welcome back to Josh DeLozier Investments. Today we're going to talk about budgeting basics, and we're going to go over a few very important tips to planning correctly. And someone once said a hour's worth of planning is worth a day's worth of work. That's from architecture, so it's extremely important. I always write everything down. So we'll go ahead and get into the video. The first thing that we're going to talk about today is tracking every dollar. Use an app, spreadsheet, or notebook to record every source of income and every expense, no matter how small. Review your bank statements and receipts to catch any spending you might overlook. It's important to identify and look for patterns in your spending. Are you spending more on dining out or subscriptions than you realized? Identify areas where you consistently overspend. Next, it's important to prioritize. Decide which expenses are essential, your needs, and which are optional, which would be your wants. Highlight areas where adjustments could have the biggest impact. Next, save. Use your tracking insights to redirect money from low priority spending into savings or debt repayment. The second tip on here today, set clear financial goals. Write down your short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals. Track your progress toward each goal monthly. I tend to want to track everything, week by week, and then I break it down by day. The more detailed you are, the more money you're going to save. And then you can turn around and reinvest that into stocks and have your money working for you. And that is what we at Josh DeLozier Investments recommend. Next, be specific. Instead of save money, try to save $1,000 for an emergency fund in 6 months. Always put back something for a rainy day. It's extremely important because no one knows what the future holds. Identify why each goal matters to you. Motivation is the key. Always rank your goals by importance and urgency. Focus on one or two top goals at a time to avoid feeling overwhelmed. Next, automate transfers to separate savings for each goal. Celebrate milestones to stay motivated and reinforce your saving habits. Then the third thing we're going to discuss, a lot of people like using the 50-30-20 rule. At Josh DeLozier Investments, we support the FIRE movement. So we believe in investing at least 50% of your income or more into investments, if possible. Always pay yourself first. That's most important. But the main thing is always break down, what your priorities are. If your investments, then you have your needs, and then you also have your wants. Those are your three categories. Always automate your savings. That's number 4. Set your automatic transfers from your checking to savings or investment accounts. Track your savings growth over time. You always want to be on the right trajectory. So, always paying attention to what's going on is key. You gotta do your own due diligence when it comes to investing. And, you basically want to stay on track so you can reach those long-term goals in a timely fashion. Next, identify which accounts and amounts work best for your goals, your emergency fund, your retirement, your vacation, etc. Always prioritize automated savings for your most important goals first. Increase your automated savings as your income grows. Let automation do the work. Out of sight, out of mind means you're less likely to spend what you should be saving. That's common for people who basically are more conservative. But if you're more hands-on, Josh DeLozier Investments actually takes the opinion that the more time that you put into your investments, the more money you're going to make. So this is basically always do your own due diligence on your investments, and it'll show in the results. But if you do automation instead, that's for a beginner. Then as you get more advanced, the results will speak for themselves, just because all the extra homework you're doing from whether it be real estate to stocks. You got to pay yourself first and invest in yourself. Next, number 5, review and adjust regularly. Schedule a monthly date to review your budget and spending. Track any changes in income, expenses, or goals. Identify what's working and what's not. Spot any new expenses or areas where you've slipped, or basically you have quotas every week that you're expected to hit. Always try to put a little bit more. If you're going to put $100 back for your investments, if you have the extra money, put $125 in this week. At the end of the week, it's when you look back at your progress, it's all about consistency. And when you go the extra mile, it really does pay in the long run. So that's key to success. Adjust your priorities based on life changes, your new job, moving, family changes. Prioritize fixing any overspending or undersaving. Doing assessments on your financial health is extremely important. It's key. That extra hour will more than pay for itself. Use your review to find extra money for savings or debt payoff. Make small tweaks regularly rather than big stressful changes later. Number 6, plan for irregular expenses. List all non-monthly expenses, car repairs, insurance, holidays, gifts, etc. Track how much you need for each and when they're due. Basically at the end of the year, you want to see roughly what you've paid on your car and, repairs and everything. So that way, that's a good baseline to understand what you're going to be paying in the future. You always want to be able to estimate for the future. Next, identify which regular expenses are predictable and which are surprises. Look for patterns from previous years. Prioritize setting aside a little each month for the most important or costly irregular expenses. Open a separate savings account for these expenses and automate monthly contributions. When the bill comes, you'll have the money. No stress there. Always being prepared pays. Number 7, cut unnecessary expenses. Review your spending for subscriptions, memberships, and impulse buys. Track how much you could save by cutting or reducing these. Identify which expenses don't add value or happiness to your life. Ask yourself, would I miss this if I cut it? And also, what would I be doing differently with my time? Cut the least important expenses first. Prioritize keeping what matters most to you. Redirect the money you save into your highest priority goals or debt repayment. Watch your progress accelerate. Number 8, build an emergency fund. Calculate your monthly living expenses, track your emergency fund balance, and set milestones. It's $500, $1,000. It's just keep on adding it up. Identify what counts as an emergency: job loss, medical bills, car repairs. Avoid dipping into this fund for non-emergencies. Make building your emergency fund a top priority, even if you start small. Prioritize it over non-essential spending until you reach your target. Automate transfers to a separate, easily accessible account. Celebrate each milestone to stay motivated. Go out to eat, enjoy it, go shopping, whatever you like to do. Because number 10 is a big one for me, celebrating progress. It's positive reinforcement. Great way to, to go enjoy something, go out to eat with your friends or family. Track your achievements, savings, milestones, debt paid off, or months sticking to your budget. You reach a goal, go out and celebrate. You've earned it. Identify what motivates you: public recognition, a small treat, or sharing success with a friend. It's whatever works. Celebrate in ways that don't derail your budget. So, plan for the celebration as well. Prioritize experiences or rewards that reinforce your positive habits. Using progress as motivation to keep going. Remember, every small win adds up to big results over time. I appreciate everyone watching Josh DeLozier Investments this week. Hope everyone has a very profitable week, and check out our next video on stocks. Should be upcoming Monday or Tuesday. Hope everyone has a very profitable week.